Me again.
Quit looking at your phone. Turn it over. Turn it over. Turn it over.
I didn't even know we were
Listen,
live.
you know who's telling you right now? Me. Well, that's not me. That's Chris from 1980 something co. But this is my MVP trophy right here.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening, everybody?
Good afternoon.
Do you want to tell them what this is?
This is Katy won MVP again. So 3 times on the flea, 3 times MVP. That's her three-peat.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
That's the trophy that I bought Katy the other day just to bust on her for being an MVP, and she customized the trophy with that weird guy's face on it.
Weird guy? Why would you say that about Chris? You mean the weird picture of his face?
Yes.
He's not weird.
I'm sure he's
funny.
A very nice guy.
He's funny. Anyway, Dorothy says hat trick. Yeah, so Vikki got me, this is actually like it's a basketball, notice my eBay tape attaching it, but it's an MVP trophy. And
it has 3 stars on it. I knew.
What? Does that mean that this is like the end?
No, the 4th, you got 1 more.
I got 1 more and then it's over. Anyway, and I actually said, can you guys hear us this time around? I hope so. Anyway, I actually said when I was on my set yesterday that I would send it to whoever won the MVP. And then afterwards, Vikki was like, I gave that to you. And now you're just going to give it away? So
she was going to forward it?
So it was pretty important.
Rejecting my love and my gift and going to give it to somebody else.
Yeah, my apologies.
So to be fair, the first 2 times she won MVP, I have to say were 100% on her merit from all of you guys and other people watching them. Not that this wasn't on her merit this time. But after her second win, she was very hesitant to put it in the boss group and things like that and ask for votes in the group because it's a group of, over 6,000 people and they may or may not watch the flea. So she didn't want to feel like she was using undue influence to ask them to vote for her. But the last time in between, like sometime last week, Chris, the guy who runs the virtual flea, said, hell yeah, if you have an audience and you have influence, you better be hustling and trying to get as many votes as possible.
Yeah.
So that made her feel like it was okay to put it in the group and ask for the votes this time, which I think she should have done all along personally because she does have an audience. But she didn't feel it was fair to people that didn't have an audience necessarily, and she wanted to win on her merit. But to be fair, the person she went up against, or she went up against everybody who sold yesterday, but the one that was the closest person to her did not have.
No, they have
a big following as well. So it was neck and neck. It was
neck and neck. It's Vintage X Revival. It was like super neck and neck. Like. And usually Chris doesn't say like where the votes are at before voting is over, but he went on last night and he was like, hey, here's the breakdown. And I think I was ahead by 2 votes. And so I know that we both kind of, I saw Vintage X Revival like putting out stuff asking people to vote. So we were really pushing for it. But yeah, I just felt weird about it because like coming in, especially like my first couple of times, nobody in that community knows me. And I come in and do a set, and then like I've got
1,000 votes.
I've got like this, YouTube. We have our show and our Facebook group, and I just didn't really think it just felt weird.
You felt like you wanted to win on your own merit of being a good presenter and have good stuff and all that stuff, which you could and did.
But I also felt like it would just be being shitty. Like it just didn't seem like it would be okay. Like it felt a little weird and sneaky. But then like Barry sent me a message and he was like, Afro Vintage, and he was like, hey, Chris was just on talking about MVP and like how sometimes people kind of like bitch and complain about people winning MVP. And I didn't see because the recording didn't go up for a rewatch later, but basically what Barry was telling me was that Chris laid it out like, hey, if you want to be MVP, you're going to hustle for it. You're going to ask everybody to vote for you. You're going to go out and like really get those votes in for you. It doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter if they watch. Just ask people to vote for you. And that's how you're going to get it. And if you want it, you'll get it. And so once he told me that, I was like, okay, then I don't feel bad about doing that. And the reality is, like, we are talking a lot about the virtual flea. And I know there's been multiple people who've signed up for Instagram for the first time ever just to be able to follow it. And I see you guys in the chat when, you know, actually like, actually bidding on stuff, and not just on my stuff. Like I've seen, I can't even tell you how many of you guys have been like, I'm addicted to the virtual flea now. I can't stop watching it. So I think it's good all around, but it's pretty cool. Pretty
It is
cool.
pretty cool.
And I had a lot of fun, and now I got to figure out what the heck I'm going to sell this next time.
So Sunny Miami asked, did I ever reach out to the contact that you sent to me? I have not yet. I've been real busy. So I actually just picked up that huge order last week and got it all processed and ready and out the door. And so I've been working like 10, 12-hour days every day this week. So I have not had time. I will probably do that at some point this week. She had sent me a connection for someone that sells wholesale vintage.
Yeah.
So I will get out to you, get some message out to that person.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's been a crazy week getting ready for this, and getting all set up for this, and then I'm going to be going tomorrow morning. Why don't you tell us about your woes?
So someone has to drive Katy to the Yesterday's Fits shop to meet the boys at 3:15 in the morning. I wonder who that somebody might be.
I was going to take an Uber.
No, see, here's the thing. I don't mind the whole Uber thing if you're going to an airport, but the area that they have their shop is not the safest area. And I don't want you taking an Uber with a strange person in the middle of the night being dropped off in a strange area. Because if the boys happen to oversleep or they're running late, you are now stuck in the middle of a crappy area at 3 a.m. Not a good look in Vegas. So I'm not going to let that happen.
Yeah, so she's got to go get me, or we've got to drive there, basically leave here at 3 in the morning. And then I'm going to be going with Jesse, and I'm assuming Joe too, from Yesterday's Fits. And we're going to drive straight to California, to Torgum, which is the big warehouse there with this vintage clothing. And I'm basically going to spend all day tomorrow, hopefully buying to my heart's content. And it's going to be good because I've been paying up a lot for stuff, especially doing like the virtual flea and stuff. But hopefully I'm going to be able to get a large quantity of some lower price stuff, because like their basic stuff is anywhere from like $7 to $10. But that's like the type of t-shirts that, you know, I like to sell for 40, 50, 60 bucks. And then they have like showrooms. They have 2 locations that are really close to each other. I get to go to both of them. They have like showrooms in each one where there's no higher price stuff.
Before somebody asks, there's no filming inside, by the way. So she won't be able to do any of that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So hopefully I'm gonna come away from there, because I really need to stock. I need some inventory. Like I need more than just these pieces that I've been getting piecemeal to be able to sell and paying up for. I need like a bulk amount. So my plan is to go. I mean, I have budgeted to do about $2,000. It might, you know, maybe it'll be less. Probably I don't really want to go over that, but $2,000 is kind of like my budget. You have to, as one person going in alone for my business, I have to spend a minimum of $500, and I think I have to pay that up front, and then whatever I buy comes out of that. But it's like they make you pay up front, because you can't just go in and be like, meh, I changed my mind, because it's not the way it works. It's for businesses. It's not for personal shopping.
Somebody said there's something jingling.
I have no idea.
Yeah, nope. Everybody's like, is it a whistling thing? It's not on our end.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what the
I know you guys are hearing it. There's several people are hearing it. We have nothing happening here.
Yeah, not sure. We can't hear anything here.
Do you wonder if it's this microphone because it wasn't working last time?
I can switch it over and see if. Sorry guys, that's is it really bad? It gets loud. Yeah, it's because I switched the mic over, but now I went back.
It was gone for a minute because we switched the mic.
So I'm sorry if it's like super whistly. Everyone's like, it's
not. For some reason our professional mic is not working right now. So it looks like you're gonna have to. I bought that one, so it should have a warranty. It was like a $200 microphone.
So maybe, well, I just need to unplug it and plug it back in, but they're saying it's not ringing now and it's better, so it's gone. So maybe I just need to turn it off and turn it back on again, which is kind of how you
fix all the
IT problems, is you just turn it off and turn it back on again. Oh, they can hear now. Okay.
So a couple comments. A couple people said they liked my hair. Thank you. It was just getting starting to fade on the ends, and I threw some purple in. That's all. Nothing exciting. Just put some purple in the ends. Cheryl usually likes when I do my hair like this. It's getting long now, Cheryl. So
yeah.
Let's see. And I see Frankie is watching the show. Frankie and Tracy are signed in separately, so that's how I know Frankie's watching.
Yeah.
So what's up?
Oh, and Tracy, by the way, she was asking how to watch my flea set. So here's the thing. If you want to watch live, you need to be following 1980 something co on Instagram. And I think I do still have the link down below. You need to be following him, and there's no link to it when it's live because it's just until it's live, then you can share a link. But so basically you need to be following him during the actual live. As far as watching the replay, you can go back and watch the replay of my set. You just need to go to, again, 1980 something co to his profile, and you need to click on the IGTV, and he saves all of the sets in there. So you can go back and watch mine for sure, but you can't get to it on mine.
Yeah, you have to click on the little round circle next to the person's name, and that's how you get their live stuff, if they're live, or the little TV feed.
Yeah, so when
that's how you find that stuff.
Yeah, if you're ever on Instagram, anybody who's live, it'll come across the top. It's like their stories, and if it's live, it'll say live. So he's probably live right now if you want to check it out. But don't leave. So
yeah, don't leave.
Don't leave.
Anyway, there were a couple other questions in there I just want to see. Oh, Jinx, I see that you're in the chat. I sent you a message. Your shirt came back to me. It just came back this week. So if you can send me a message, I'll send it back out to you for free. Just you're a viewer, no big deal. But I just want to know where you want me to send it. So send me a message or check your eBay messages, because I think that's how I sent you the message, because you bought it through eBay. So
yeah. So it's kind of a crazy weekend because I'm going to be gone all day tomorrow, which means I can't do my shipping. So after we get done with the show here, I have to do all of my shipping. So I need to ship everything out that I sold on the flea. I need to ship everything out that I've sold so far this weekend. And then I guess I don't know if anybody orders anything later, I'll have to ship again. But
Corey, if you happen to be watching, it looks like we may have to go to the post office tomorrow, since Corey and I are going to go hang out and go do some shopping tomorrow.
Yeah.
And apparently we have to go to bed at like 7 p.m.
Pretty much.
So we can get up at 3 a.m. because once I'm up, I'm up. So it's not like I get to go drop her off at 3 a.m. and come back to bed, because that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So sunny Miami, that's Luke. You know what, as far as like me, what I'm looking for particularly when I go into Torgum, I'm really looking for stuff that I can list in my regular stores and my regular platforms. I mean, yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye out for stuff that I think would do well on the virtual flea. But I really just need some bread and butter inventory. And then of course I'm going to be looking like in the showrooms and, the stuff that they really love, movie stuff, which I love too, movie stuff, and then like Disney cartoon stuff. All that stuff I'll definitely keep an eye out for, but I'm not necessarily anticipating that I'm going to get like a ton of stuff from there that's going to be virtual flea worthy or exciting, because they have a very specific taste to what they like. And then there's all the other stuff that I make really good money on, but I don't necessarily showcase during that time. So, all right. Do you want to get into it? Well, here's the deal, guys. If you haven't watched this show before, I'm Katie. This is Vikki, aka Victoria, when she wants to be taken very seriously, which is quite often, to tell you the truth. But she'll take Vikki.
Which is quite often.
But she does go by Vikki or Victoria. You can call her either one, aka my fiance, aka gonna be real cranky when she has to take me to yesterday's fits at 3 in the morning, aka but less cranky because I did win MVP again and I'm not giving away the trophy that she bought for me. So anyway, we break the show up into 3 parts. First part, we go over our real numbers for the last week, break it down for you, our costs and what we made on them. And then we go into our second segment, middle segment, and that's looking at the sales highlights for the last week, some of the cool stuff that we sold on our different platforms. And then the last part is our haul. And you actually have some super cool hard goods.
I do have
say.
some fun hard goods to show this week.
We
Yeah.
even went to some thrift stores, dare I say. I don't know why I'm saying dare I say, but it sounds fun. And you got some hard goods, so that's kind of exciting, as well as some clothing. So
it's been a while. So I didn't really source because I picked up that huge haul from my friend Sally and Rudy last weekend. But Katie and I went out on Friday. We were going to do we generally do garage sales or estate sales or whatever one day a week. We haven't been doing that as much in the summer because there's not as many in the summer here because it's 10 billion degrees. But there were only a handful on Friday. So we decided to go to a couple thrift stores instead. And I did pretty well. I got some pretty good stuff. So I had not been to a thrift store since a month ago when we went in Utah.
Oh, and there's Kiki Mom. Calling
Lisa,
out in Henderson, Nevada now. What?
So, Lisa, by the way, I'm going to be sending you a message tomorrow or calling you tomorrow. I wanted to have Katie and I want to have you over for dinner one night this week.
And this is what's funny. So, Lisa, you talk a lot with Vikki, but obviously you and I don't think we've ever talked like on social media and stuff like that. So I just know you as Kiki Mom. And I swear to God, like sometimes, do you ever have like those brain blocks where it's like no matter what, you can't remember something? So basically, probably roughly at least 10 times, Vikki has started to talk about you, said Lisa, and I go, who? And it's like, I swear, every single time.
Last night I said, because I've been talking to Katie about having you over for dinner, because I know you've been here now for a couple weeks. We haven't even seen you, and I know you don't even know anybody here yet, and I'm really sorry. I'm a shitty friend and neighbor. I apologize. We want you to come over for dinner. I'm going to try and get a couple other people so you can meet some local resellers at least. But anyway, we'll talk after. But every time I say to Katie something about Lisa, she'll go, who? Yeah, Lisa, our friend that just moved here. Lisa. Oh,
I know Kiki Mom. I know you from eBay Open, all that stuff. It's just for some reason the name Lisa, I cannot. But now that part of the reason why I'm calling attention to my dumbassery right now is because I'm saying it and I'm talking about it, I'm focusing on it in this moment. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna forget that.
I'm pretty sure the problem is over, and we can get past this, Lisa. So I apologize for something you didn't even know happened, and now that I've shined a light upon myself, I'm sorry. That's all I have to say. Anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and look at our numbers. All right, and my numbers look kind of weird because I had to do something funky, but I will explain it when we get to it.
Don't worry, Katie has beaten me once again.
Whatever.
eBay is dead on arrival.
eBay is like, listen, I'm sure eBay's doing the same for me. Like I've had some good days, and my eBay sales are good, but it's only because I had a few really strong days. But I had like 4 days that were like $50, $20. Like I had I had like 2 days that were like $20. One day that was $0. One day that was $50. Like that's weird.
I have sold 6 items since Thursday. 6 on eBay. So we talk about this every once in a while here, you guys, but it's my normal is about $300 a day. Yeah. If I do less than $1,000 on a weekend, that's a poor weekend for me. Yeah. I am under $300 for the weekend on eBay. So yeah. And I listed about 100 new items over the week. So it's not that.
Yeah, I think it's just the funky stuff's going on. They're changing a lot of things.
Oh, there's a whole lot of political crap going on. You know, people lost the unemployment. There's a lot of unemployment going on right now. They lost the extra money. There's a whole lot of stuff going on right now, and kids are back to school or virtual back to school. Pretty much everyone by this week or next week. So it's been a really, really strange month. Summer, there's always a summer slowdown. People talk about that. We generally have a summer slowdown. Mine came to a screeching halt in the end of July. Yeah. So my sales have been since July.
I will say my, it tells you how you're doing compared to last year. My numbers are way up because I went and looked. I'm like, man, I must have been really having a hard time last year. And I went and looked, and it's true. The last 2 summers around this time, I was like in the worst, having the worst sales ever. And I went and I just looked at my PayPal tax stuff, And it was like $4,000 was what I did for the month of August last year, which for me even then was crazy low. Like I had to dip into some. I have like emergency funds that are just for my business, and I remember I had to dip into some of that last year and the year before.
Yeah,
not the case this year. So even though it's not so good like this last few weeks, it's still way better than it was last year.
So lest you feel like you're the only one having slow sales right now, you are not.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and tell us what you got here?
So for me, this is my normal number of orders is between 50 and 60 a week altogether. So it really wasn't too bad. I usually do around 50 on eBay. So I had 30 eBay orders, 24 between Etsy, Posh, and Mercari. So it was a total of 54 going out the door. Still relatively low. My gross sales on eBay were $18.67, and I understand that for some people that's a good week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to negate that. It's just everybody has their different level. Anything under 3,000 for me as I consider a slow week now. But I did Etsy, Posh, and Mercari combined. I did almost 1,300. So for me, those three saved me.
Yep.
So again, if you're not using List Perfectly to cross post to other platforms, I'm telling you, it has saved my ass when I'm having a bad week on eBay. So for my total week, I did $31.54 and change. Shipping was $277. My promoted listing fees between Etsy and eBay, $59.99. I did have 2 sales on Etsy that were through promotions. My final value fees on eBay, $295. Etsy, Posh, and Mercari final value fees, that's all rolled in there, $115 and change, for a total of $747 and change. My cost of goods was $225. So my total net sales after cost of goods is still okay. I even though my sales were not great, my costs were relatively low this week. So my total net was $21.81 and change. My gross average sale price, I like to see over $50. That's doing real good at $58 and change. And my net ASP at $40.
Yeah, see, so it's still really good.
It wasn't a horrible week altogether because my costs were low this week.
Yeah, for sure. I think some of the frustration comes from where like, okay, now you've been really putting the work in. You're putting in all this new inventory. You're doing all this stuff.
Correct. I'm ramping up on my inventory because I have a lister and I've been buying a lot more than I normally would and ramping up. And I'm not seeing the increase in sales that I expect to see at this time. I am seeing it on the other platforms.
Right.
But I should be seeing it on eBay plus the other platforms. Right. Instead of those platforms coming together to make me whole, it should be a major increase in general.
So it's good that they're making you whole, but it's kind of like you're not getting to enjoy the part of like getting the extra on top. So but you know what, you'd be feeling a lot different if you were.
Oh, I'd be crying right now if I wasn't selling on the other platforms. Seriously.
But hey, I wanted to say to Luke, who's trusting that I'm going to show him a good taco place to eat at. Let me tell you, Luke, Vikki and I will take you and your girlfriend to Taco y Taco, because that is, if you want tacos in Vegas, Taco y Taco is where you got to go. Right?
It's true.
And so we like it when people come into town that need to have some, because then we get to go too. So.
Oh, crud. I just got a reminder. Sorry, Corey. I don't even know. We'll be able to hit like 2 stores tomorrow. My nail appointment is tomorrow.
Put your phone down.
Damn it. Sorry.
Put your phone down. Unprofessional.
Did anyone ever say we were professional?
Apparently we're hanging out with Vikki here and not Victoria, because Victoria takes shit seriously and is a professional.
There is absolutely nothing professional about this show.
Well, not now. We're checking our nail appointments and whatnot. Oh, people, I apologize for the rudeness here. All right, let's look at what my week looked like. Okay, I had 22. Let me make the screen bigger.
See, that's terrible. 22 on eBay. That's bad. That's a slow week too.
It is, but I had some high numbered things sell, so it still ends up being close to 2,000. So 22 items going out on eBay, 25 between Etsy, Grailed, and Instagram. I didn't sell anything on Mercari. So a total of 47 items sold. My eBay gross sales, $1,851.33. My Etsy, Grailed, and Instagram totaled $2,744.81, and just about 2,000 of that was Instagram. Almost all of that was from the virtual flea. My shipping, a little over $200. My promotion fees between eBay and Etsy, just over $100. And you can see the final value fees, although, and this is why I have this wonky number down here. We really need to get these spreadsheets updated, please, Teresa, because what's happening is everything I sold on Instagram, I'm not paying platform fees, and yet because it's being entered in here, it's taking out that, and it really isn't true. So really, that's like off by a couple $100. So cost of goods, $1,275. So you can see right here, it says my total net sales, $2,544. But really, I added the 200 back on top of that, so $2,744.47. And so my gross average sale price, $97.79.
That's fantastic.
And then I readjusted my net average sale price is actually $58.39. But still, like if you look at that, I mean, my net ends up being just over $2,700. And Vikki's is almost $2,200. So even though I had like crazy good sales and
you pay a lot for your shit.
I paid up a lot. Well, especially for stuff I do for the virtual flea. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
I am way too cheap to do that.
I know. But we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit, because there is like a method to the madness, and it does make sense because of the circumstances.
For sure. Quick question in there. Tommy asked, does it mean for a switch to MP and having it where buyers have more payment options really isn't helping? Katy and I are not in managed payments yet. So
yeah,
I can't speak to that. We are both scheduled to go in, strangely enough, we are both scheduled to go in at the same time between August 31st and the 3rd of September, right?
Yes, 31st to the 3rd, somewhere in there. But yeah, so I guess this is the right time to talk about this. As far as like my cost of goods, you know, when I buy stuff, when I really spend up for something for the virtual flea, I'm spending up for auction pieces. And so those things are things that are going to sell no matter what. And so the hope is that I'm not paying for an item that's going to sell for less than what I paid for it.
Since she starts the auctions at $1.
Right. So it's kind of so that is risky, but then it's like if you start too high, then you might not have anybody jump in. So it's like you just kind of have to decide what you're going to do. So for instance,
you just have to know that you have good stuff that you you're going to sell.
Right. So for instance, this week, I auctioned off 10 items. Okay. I paid up. I spent about $1,000 on those 10 items combined. And I made about $2,000. So I basically doubled. Well, actually it was 11 items, because there's one item that was going to auction off and somebody bought it from me the day before because they didn't want to risk it in the auction. It actually ended up being good because it's probably the highest price piece I sold, and it wouldn't have gotten that in the auction based on how my set was going. So I spent $1,000 to make $2,000, but I spent that $1,000 within the last week, 2 weeks, and I got it all back in double 2 weeks later.
Without fees.
Without fees. So it's different if I was going to go out and spend $1,000 and then it was going to take me a year to maybe double my money. That wouldn't really be a good investment. But because I know what I'm doing for the most part, I know I can spend up. And there was only one item, and I'm actually going to show it in my solds. There was only one item that I got less than what I paid for it, and it was only by like $15. Otherwise, altogether, 1,000 into 2,000 in a matter of a week and a half, basically. So yeah, there we go. That's all I got to say about that. Okay, so you want to go ahead and look at our sales?
You've been talking a lot.
I'm sorry, what? What'd you say?
I did it myself. I did it to myself.
I think I did a pretty good job on this. It was a good little craft that I did. All right, let's go ahead and share the screen here. Oh, whoops, I just removed it. There we go. What you got?
Yet another blanket. Guys.
I would like to point out, though, that you are right. Crystal does have better floors than us.
I know. So Crystal took these photos because I sent her home. Not that blankets are difficult to photograph, but one week I had about 15 blankets, and I was like, here, just do these with the clothes. So Crystal took these photos. She has very nice floors. I do mine on the hardwood floors as well. There's nothing wrong with that. If your floors are clean, don't do it when you've got crap on your floor, please. Don't do it on a carpeted floor if you can help it. But nice on hardwood floors, it does okay. But her floors are really nice, and I'm like jealous because ours are crappy laminate. Anyway, so yeah, I paid about $4 for this. Picked this up in Flagstaff, Arizona. Sold for $90.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, it's just a pretty mocha color, very soft. Those waffle weave blankets do very well. This was one of the nicer ones.
Rose, real quick, it's
been answered in the chat.
Well, whatever. You know what's funny though is that we got our email and it told it like last week, and it told us it was going to be August 31st through the 3rd of September. Derek got his email one morning, and that same day he was already put into the program. So I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it, but whatever. All right, so this is this kind of weird, crazy.
That is a weird
t-shirt. Soca Explosion. I don't know if that's how you say it, or just
SoCal.
SOCA. It's not SoCal though. I don't think it stands for something else. I think
it's in Los Angeles. So
yeah, I know, but anyway, it's this particular Trinidad calypso music. I don't know. I've got all these crazy keywords in there. But I grabbed it because I thought it looked really cool, and I'm like, somebody will be into this specific. It was like some special thing, whatever. It took a little while. I probably had this for like 4 or 5 months, but somebody bought it for $97.99, and I think it went international, so they paid shipping on top of that. But man, it's just you never know. You never know. It's cool.
I would never pick that up because it's such a weird looking shirt. I'm like, what is this? Who are these people? Who wants that crap?
Somebody paid
Apparently somebody paid $100 for that crap.
Pretty much. All right, next up.
I picked this up at an estate sale. This was, I believe, on the 3rd day of the estate sale. Katie and I went back. I bought a bunch of these cookie jars. I've sold all but one now, but I didn't pay a lot for them. They had originally wanted a ton for them, way too much money to make anything on them, kind of like a lot of the estate sales here. But this was a really nice one. It was new in the packaging, in the box, had never even been removed from the packaging. I took it out just to take the photos. And I paid about $4 or $5 for it on the 3rd day of the estate sale, and it sold for $104 plus shipping.
Wow. Wow. All right. Ray Charles, this Diet Pepsi t-shirt. So I had a different one that I had picked up, and I sold it to somebody for $100. But at the time that I was listing the other one, I saw one, I was doing my research, and I saw this one on Etsy for $25. So I went ahead and bought it for $25. So then the following week, this last week, I listed it, and it pretty much almost immediately, I got an offer almost immediately from the same guy who bought the other one for $100. Only this one, he made an offer for $115. And I was like, yeah, because it hadn't even gone on sale yet, which it would have been $140. So $140 dropping down to $115. Heck yeah, $25 into $115 in the matter of an hour, maybe. So that's good, because that means that buyer is paying attention to the stuff that I'm shipping. And he did a big multi-item purchase before, so I love knowing that I have somebody watching my listings like that.
I don't have multi-order purchases very often. I do have one to show later on in the show, but I don't get them very often. This I picked up at a pretty grungy thrift store when we were in Utah. So
yeah, you just got listed
3 weeks ago. Just got it listed. It was listed less than a week. This is the highest price that this has ever sold for. I sold it. I paid $10 for it. I did pay up for it. I knew it was going to be worth it. I figured I was going to sell it somewhere around 80-ish. I figured it was going to roll into a sale at some point. It did not. It sold before it rolled into the sale. So it sold for $129.95 plus shipping. Got great feedback on it already. Customers happy. It's very small. It looks like it's a big thing, but I will tell you it's probably about 7 or 8 inches. And that's it. So it's just vintage kitchen appliances, vintage kitchen anything.
Cute.
It is kind of cute. It literally fits like a hot dog on top.
Yeah, I think it's pretty adorable. All right, next one up is, I did not sell it for this price, people, so just calm down.
Seriously.
But this jacket, I actually got this from Barry, I think the first time we went to his storage unit, and I bought a bunch of stuff from him. And I paid like $50 or $60 for it, and I priced it super high because there were some comps that had it really high. But like I've been sending out offers on this so many times, and somebody, you know, and with my really high price stuff like this, like I'll do crazy offers like half off or whatever, you know, hoping that somebody will grab it. You know, it had like a bunch of followers.
I sold the Raiders version of this for a couple $100s.
Yeah, so somebody offered, I think, $275. I forgot to write down the exact numbers, but I'm almost positive $275 for this. And I jumped on it. I'm like, heck yeah. So $275 from, it was a $50 or $60 purchase a while back. So I was really happy with that. It's a good deal.
Nice. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, fancy.
I know, right? So you guys know I love vintage stuff. The louder, the more hideous looking, the better. Now, granted, this is a Scotta, but it's the cheap end of a Scotta. The Marguerite Lay version of a Scotta from the 80s into the early 90s is the lower end version of a Scotta that was sold in department stores. It still was pretty pricey, but it's not like designer couture a Scotta brand, right? So it was probably $100 or $150 sweatshirt at, you know, a sweater at, you know, I don't know, a Macy's or a Nordstrom type thing, Lord & Taylor, something like that. So it wasn't like a $1,500 sweater. So I paid maybe $5 for this. It sat for a little while, like a lot of the vintage stuff does. It's kind of long tail, but this was listed by Crystal, so I haven't had it that long. This was photographed by Crystal. It sold for $90. It sold international, so I did make a little bit on the shipping international as well, and I paid about $5 for it.
Nice.
It's very much something that you would sell. I would put on Etsy. If I were on Depop, I would put this on Depop as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not on Depop. When they increase the pictures, I will. Yeah. I will go on.
All right. Next one. Hey, remember this jacket, guys? And once again, I did not sell it for that much, but this was from this little thrift store that we go to very rarely. We only go like maybe a couple times a year that we actually end up getting out there. What's it called again? And we have told people this place before. So
it's the one that's
St. Jude's.
St. Jude's Children's Hospital. It's the place where the kids go with the ranch when they're getting cancer treatment. But there is a little thrift store on the property as well.
Yeah, so it's a cool shop, and we went last time we went there. I mean, this was like probably almost a year ago, and they were having, it probably was because I think it was summertime, and they were having a deal where it was like all their jackets were like half off, but it was already super cheap. So I literally bought this, I think, for like $2.50 because I think it was listed at like $5. The little tag on it was like $5. So, but it was a new with tags, not vintage, but a new with tags reversible jacket, and it's the double R brand version of the Ralph Lauren stuff,
which is the highest end label, the designer label for Ralph Lauren. And then there was who was that?
Yeah,
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson
wearing the jacket,
I can't remember
who it was, but somebody watching our show was like, he was just on the MTV Awards and wearing the jacket. So I grabbed a picture of it and put it up here shamelessly. I didn't put his name in my listing, but I did. I went ahead and put that picture in there. You better believe it. Anyway, so just a really cool jacket. And again, this is one I've had like a lot of people following. I've sent out 1 million offers. I've dropped it down as low as $300. And then somebody offered.
Yeah, see, it was Key Lime Kisses that told you.
Oh, there you go. And thank you, Key Lime Kisses. And so somebody offered $450 yesterday, and was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. And I think I sold a whole $25 all day, and I was like, yeah, $450, I'll take it right now on something I paid $2.50 for. And then they proceeded to write back to me and be like, oh, I thought this was a 2XL because it says the double and then XL. And so they wanted to cancel it. And I'm like, well, did you actually look at the measurements? I go,
because it's a very generous sized.
Because a lot of times these jackets are made to be overly big. So he went and looked at the measurements, and then he paid. So it was quite the roller coaster of a sale, but he did pay. So that'll be getting shipped out later today.
So 1 second, Tracy had asked, how important is it to put Made in the USA in your title when you're selling vintage 80s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s items? If it's a brand that still makes items currently, if you can fit Made in the USA, if you can't fit it in your title, definitely put it in your description. It is important. For one reason is that clothing when it was made in the USA was better made than it is now. So the construction is better, the wear is better, it lasts longer, all of those things. When everything started being outsourced is when stuff was made like crap.
Yeah.
So that's important for that reason. Also important for a lot of people that choose to buy only items made in the USA. They want to have that designation. It's a small percentage of people that stick to that, but there are still plenty that do. So you want to have that available and searchable for your customers that do purchase items that way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely stuff that from the 90s, 80s, and 90s that is not made in the USA, and that's okay. So, but some people do get hung up on that. But it definitely, I think it's a good selling point. And so I try and include it in all my listings, but it's not necessary necessarily.
No, it's not necessary. If you can
But-
fit it in your title, I try to put it in the title for sure. If you can't make sure you put it somewhere within your listing, even if it's just where, country where it's made, you do the drop down and choose made in the USA. But
by the way, Frankie says that my 80s rock vocals are improving, and I just want to say, thank you, Rocky. Why did I just call him Rocky? Thank you. I just call him Rocky. What the hell's wrong with me? Am I having a stroke right now?
You might be.
Do you smell that toast that's going? Because I do. Frankie, thank you. All right, I just stroked out. I apologize. But I do appreciate it, Frankie.
If you know Katy well enough to know that she does do karaoke, we both do, and she actually does have a good voice. And what she sings here is not a represtation of her voice. Because
what are you saying, Rick?
She generally sings in a goofy falsetto. That's not her real singing voice. And I had quit while you're ahead, he said. And I actually have a good singing voice, but I don't ever sing on the show. Anyway, we both like karaoke.
Yeah, we do. All right, let's go to your next one.
So Jen, if you're in here, I grudgingly sold this, even though Tracy and Frankie, my rocker friends in the chat, will attest to the fact that I could not hate a band more than Nirvana. I will never turn down money. So I actually picked this up in a lot of rock shirts that I picked up from Barry, Afro Vintage. I've sold a couple of them already. This one I thought was going to sell for more than it does because it is true vintage from the 90s. But the fact that it is a small and that it's kind of like a girl tee style, it's like not as desirable, and there are more of them available than I anticipated. So when I bought it, yeah, Frankie said gross. I agree with you. I totally agree. Anyway, rather than burn this t-shirt, I decided that I would make a little bit of money on it. So I did take an offer. I sold it for $125. It went international, so I made a little bit of money on the shipping as well. And I'm happy to have this god-awful sinful thing out of my house.
Jacob says, I'm living proof you could love both Nirvana and Guns N' Roses and Paula Abdul.
Listen, Jacob, I love Guns N' Roses and Paula Abdul, just not Nirvana.
Sorry, here's the reality of it, Vikki, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say Rocky, aka Frankie, might be in the same boat here.
Oh, he is absolutely.
We have the same limited window of music that they would freaking die for, and the rest of it, in their opinions, is crap. And
not true. Frankie and I actually do expand past the 80s.
So at least 2003.
We both like a few current bands, not many.
Current, or they were popular in 2003.
Some from 2003 as well.
How many of the bands you liked actually started after 2003?
Maybe 5.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I'm gonna need to see proof of that. Okay, I'm gonna need to see proof of that.
Listen, anyway. I'm glad this ugly monstrosity is out of the house and I made a little bit of money on it. All right. I think I paid on average for what I paid for all the shirts. I paid about $25. It sold for $125.
All right. Good deal. Okay. Next one for me is this really cool Grateful Dead t-shirt. This is one I actually had picked up potentially for the flea. I ended up doing it as just a fixed price item, and I think it was my first flea. Yeah, it was the first one. My first virtual flea I did. Nobody bought it at that time. I think I just wanted like $150 for it. But anyway, I ended up selling it for $140. This is one that I believe I paid up for. I think I paid like $75 for it from yesterday's fits. But with these Grateful Dead,
you didn't write your prices down the way.
I know. Because I was running a little bit behind. But anyway, so I paid like $75 for it and sold it for $140. But Grateful Dead stuff, like the true vintage Grateful Dead, I mean, if it's the liquid blue, you're definitely getting, it's in good condition. You're definitely gonna be able to sell it for like $150 every time. This particular one, I wasn't really sure because it's not that liquid blue and it's like it's from an actual event. But I think it's a super cool shirt. And so it took a few weeks, but I still sold it for $140. So I made some good money on it. So I'm happy. I think it's a really cool shirt. All right, go ahead with your Georgia O'Keeffe lamp shade.
Seriously, this is a pretty awful, ugly lampshade. I will say I didn't pay anything for it. Dana, House of Rocks, gave this to me. She had gotten a few things from a friend, and she was like, "Come get these hard goods because I don't want this crap." And I
think she was feeling assaulted by this.
This was one of them. So I didn't pay anything for it, but I knew somebody would want it because it's that god awful over the top tackiness. Now I realize, again, the photographs are not fantastic, but it is what it is. It's not something that's easy to photograph. There's no other way to really get it other than to hold it up. So it sold.
That's inappropriate. Go ahead.
That's inappropriate. Sold for what? It's huge, by the way. It's 24 inches tall. It sold for one.
TMI. Sorry.
I'm gonna punch you right in the fucking mouth. It sold for $187.46. Buyer paid $40 shipping. It did cost me all of $52 to ship because it's huge and it went to Florida. Of course, it went to Florida.
Yeah.
So I had to ship it across the country. So
Keelan Kisses says it looks like a vulva.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot going on
it's
here.
The Georgia O'Keeffe of lampshades. That's what we said.
Yeah. Just like a prolapsed lampshade. Just saying. That's all I have to say about that.
Listen, it's sold. Stop.
By the way, let's see. Somebody asked a question. I think I missed it. Where is it? Back here. It was Chris. Chris was congratulating me. So of course I want to go back and address it. I mean,
of course.
I mean, what? Come on. Anyway, he's congratulating me on getting MVP, but he had some questions. He wanted to know about the bidders, if they are end users, as in people who are just going to wear the shirts, or buying to resell. And maybe I would be able to source from there. You know, for the most part, I would say it's a real mix. I know of people who are regular buyers during the virtual flea who are just collectors. So there are definitely people who are just collectors that are very active in that community. But there are also a lot of the people who are there to sell are also collectors, but they sell at the same time. So I would say there's a real mixture there. So for the most part, I would say they're not necessarily for the really exciting, like high price stuff. It's not necessarily the best place to source to sell necessarily. Although, like, you know, Barry, I get really good deals off of him for stuff that's not going to be like the big crazy stuff. But it's a mix. It's a mix. So I don't know. Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
That's my answer.
Luke had a question way far back too. If you want to go try and find it for me.
Oh,
scroll back.
Scroll music. Beep-a-doop boop bop, beep-a-doop bop. Scroll scat.
Okay. Stop. I'm gonna punch you right there. Nope.
This one?
Further back than Chris.
Further back than Chris. I
can't remember. It was something along the lines of
right here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Scroll Scat brings you, Vikki, what's your strategy for your business model going into Q4? Do you double up on your sourcing? And what is your time frame for trying to get everything up and ready online?
So I don't double up. I have been doubling up for the past 6 months on what I would normally list because I have a lister. So in general, I'm buying more than I normally would, but everything I have is listed within a week or two, for the most part. So I don't really have a backlog. That has not changed. It's still gonna, so that part is not really going to change. I try to have everything listed within a maximum of 2 weeks. Even if I buy 200 items, they're listed in 2 weeks. So
I would like to, I'm just going to go ahead and go out on the limb and say that Dana is not a subscriber to scatlovers.com. Just saying. All right, let's continue on.
I didn't give her the caffeine before the show, guys. I'm sorry. I did not.
All right, my last few things I'm going to share are stuff I sold in the virtual flea. I think just auction items. but the ones that I think are noteworthy. So first of all, I'll have to give a huge shout out. I know I saw Chris in the chat. I don't know, Julie, is she in the chat as well? Or is she hanging out with Chris?
I saw Julie earlier.
But Julie sent me a message like a week and a half ago or so, and she was like, hey, somebody I know who's a seller just posted a bunch of t-shirts that you might be into on Instagram. You should go check them out. They're not vintage, but they might be something that you like. So I went and looked, and she had like a bunch. It was like her personal collection. She's a seller, but she sells like other kinds of stuff. And she had all these horror t-shirts up, and I was like looking at them, and they're ones that I like, and some of them are like my size. And so I actually ordered a bunch of them because they were all like $15 and $20. But this one in particular, the thing with the whole virtual flea and people who are collecting is that, you know, vintage is 20 years or older, so 2000 or before. But what's happening is stuff that's a little bit newer is becoming more popular, and they're getting to be okay with some of the stuff that's comes out in like the early mid 2000s. They're not into the printed tees yet, and I don't know if they ever will be. But this particular Hellraiser T-shirt was 2004. Okay, yeah, I can actually look this 2004. And so I was like, I wonder if this will do well on the virtual flea. So I went ahead and auctioned this one off, and it went for $150. So basically it made me, I think, about even on all the other shirts I bought from her for my personal use. But $150 for this t-shirt, not vintage, guys, 2004, $150. So I was pretty stoked about it. So
not bad.
Not too shabby. What's up with you?
All right, do you have flipper tools open?
I can.
You need to.
You need to.
Could you prepare for the show?
I do always. This is like the one time I made a mistake. Go ahead. Talk about it.
So I picked this up at Deseret. This is one of those people think ticky-tacky vintage dresses. I love them. You know, I don't know who's buying these because nobody's going anywhere. Nope, there were no proms this year. I don't know who is buying these things, but I didn't have it for too long. I probably had this listed for just a couple of months. This was just a real cute one. This is 80s. It does look like it's much older, but this is made to look, there was an era in the 80s where it was like 80s does 50s style. So this is a 50s style, but it's an 80s dress.
Peggy Sue got married.
Sorta, yeah. So I think I paid either $4 or $6 for this. And it sold on Etsy for...
Do you want my flipper tools scat?
No, I do not.
Here you go.
$129.95.
Nice.
And I was pretty happy to get that for it because it was on sale for about $75 on eBay.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's really pretty.
It is very pretty. It's super small, first of all. I do not accept returns on Etsy. I don't accept returns anywhere but eBay because we have to on eBay.
All right. Next up for me is this awesome Psycho t-shirt. This is from Universal Studios. I actually ordered this from a seller in Malaysia. I think I bought like 3 or 4 or 5 items from the seller in Malaysia. Their stuff, if they ship it DHL, comes faster than anything USPS from across the country. It was crazy. It came in less than a week. But anyway, so I paid like $70 for this t-shirt, and it's a nice big one. It was like a 2XL. And I really felt like this was going to be like the huge hit of my set. And I will say, this is the tricky thing about doing the virtual flea, is that you have no control over who's going to be there. And it's like, especially, you know, within that 5-minute period that your item is going to be auctioning off. And so it's like, if there aren't people there that are really wanting it badly and bidding it up, you know, you're kind of stuck. And so, I mean, I think this still went for a decent price, but I think it could have gone for a lot more.
I think unfortunately, it still went well, but I think you could have gotten double for this.
Yeah,
possibly. If you had had the right buyers.
And it was a 2XL, so it's a really good size. I mean, it's just awesome graphic. I've seen like one other one with this graphic sell before, and it wasn't even the size. But it did end up going for $250. So I paid $70, sold it for $250. So really a great flip. But I really thought that this would be the one that would potentially go for like $400 or $500 or maybe even more. So I won't say that I'm disappointed. I would just say that I'm a little bit surprised it didn't go for more. And it just goes to show that, like, it's always, you're never going to know what the results are going to be.
It depends on who the audience is. Yeah,
absolutely.
That depends on what time your set is, what day, all those kind of things.
It all depends. So, all right, next one for you.
So this one was, oh, it didn't show that it was both items, or did it?
Oh, I didn't know there were two.
Yeah, this was actually, I sold 2 board games on Etsy, 2 vintage board games to the same buyer. I don't generally do that. Let's see if it comes up that way when you do Flipper Tools. See what this one sold for. I don't know if it's going to come up as 2 or not. No, so that one sold for 40, and then the other one sold as well. Can you? Okay,
I can find it for you. Just talk about the sale.
Okay, so it's just an inexpensive board game. I probably paid $2 for it. Just a typical vintage, board game, complete. I did sell a another one with it, and it's this Polly Pocket board game, which I thought was pretty cool. Are we showing? Yeah, that one right there. Right now. So that was another one. I think I paid $4 for this Polly Pocket game. I know I showed this one on a haul video at some point, and they sold to the same person. How much did that one sell for?
This one sold, so the other one was for 40, and this one 70.
Correct. So that's why it was a little bit more impressive than the $40 board game.
Sorry.
So $110 for 2 board games. I probably had $5 or $6 invested in. It was free shipping on these. I think it says plus shipping, but it was free shipping on both of those, and I shipped them together. They actually only went to Utah, so they were pretty cheap. I think it was about $10 to ship the 2 of them together.
Yeah, sorry. When I was opening up your solds, I didn't realize this was a board game. I just saw the Polly Pocket, and I thought that was a toy.
Gotcha.
My apologies, madam. All right. Next one for me is this Combo Man t-shirt. This one actually ended up being the highest price item that went in my virtual flea set. And I actually was potentially not even planning to auction this one off because I was not really sure if it would do well or not. I don't, there's people who are like crazy about Marvel and comic book stuff. I don't have as strong a knowledge of any of that stuff. And also this is like a weird one. It was like they teamed up with Combos Snacks, and they created this superhero that's like a combination of like all the different superheroes in the Marvel universe, and there was an actual comic book for it. So, and I actually paid $150 for this. And so I just wasn't really sure. I was a little nervous about auctioning it and not getting enough to at least cover what I paid for it. And then there was another seller who actually had 2 sets before me, had the exact same t-shirt. So I was like, oh, I'll see if they go crazy for it. And then he ended up doing it at the very end, but then he ran out of time, so they didn't even sell it. So he's gonna like do it later in the week. So I kind of on a whim in the middle of my show was like, I guess I'll just do this one. And it ended up going for $275. So I was actually really happy because I was really unsure of how much it was going to go for, and I was worried it was going to end up going for like $50 and I was going to be out like $100. It's a little like gambling, guys. A little like gambling.
Jacob, combos, the snacks that made you question if you were accidentally eating dog treats. Absolutely. Those are the most disgusting things.
The other ones are like really dry, and it's like you have to drink like a gallon of water with each one.
It was just full of sodium and regret. They were terrible.
Yeah. All right.
What did you sell it for? Did you say
$275?
$275.
I paid $150 for it. So, all right. Whoa! Look at these pants. Those are some crazy pants.
So I showed these on a haul at some point, and this was, let's say, I think I bought 4 pairs from yesterday's fits. I paid $10 a pair. I know that's a blurry photo. Stop squinting, you jackass.
Adjust your screen, people.
Shut up. Anyway, I've sold 3 of the 4. They've all sold for quite a bit of money, but this pair sold for the most. I paid $10. I've had them for a while. I've had them since like last fall.
Yeah.
But yeah.
A little later than that, probably, because it was when we did the boxes. But here we go. Yowza.
They sold for $174.95 on Etsy. I paid $10.
Woo, 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 woo.
So Luke wants to know, on average, would you say you both spend around $50,000 on inventory a year to net you both the $100,000 you make?
You certainly don't.
I do not spend that much. No, I would say I probably spend about maximum $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
On inventory, and I expect to hit around 150 or 160 in sales this between all the platforms this year.
Yeah. And I am probably doing a lot more than that, especially recently. I don't know if I'm averaging out to 1,000 a week, but I probably like will for the last like month or two for sure. But my sales are reflecting that. So it's like one of those things. It's like if you have the capital to kind of push forward, as long as you're making money off of the stuff that you're investing in. And with me right now, a lot of that stuff that I'm spending up on, I'm getting the results right away. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot more this year for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely and I'm being generous by saying $1,500. I would say I probably even spend a lot less than that a month.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go to my last one. It is this awesome Richard Kimball from Dr. Richard Kimball from the Fugitive movie. Now
the one-armed man.
The one-armed man. Well, it says let's see what it says on here. Yeah, I have the tagline right here. A murdered wife, a one-armed man, an obsessed detective, the chase begins. So here's the thing about this t-shirt. This actually ended up being the one I sold for the most. I did not actually have it in my actual virtual flea. So what happened is a couple weeks ago when Yesterday's Fits got to do their set, Jesse had this t-shirt. He did not do it in an auction. He did it as a buy it now. I don't know if I think he did like $200 or something like that. And somebody later offered him like $150. So he ended up selling it to me for like $150. But because he hadn't been able to sell it, and I went and looked at some, there was like one other one that was like in perfect condition, and this one's like distressed. There was one that had sold for a lot less. It was one of those ones where it was very questionable what I was going to get. I felt like it had the potential to get a lot, but it was very questionable. And so yesterday or the day before I went on the flea, a guy from Instagram contacted me and he was like, hey, would you sell this now for $300? And I was like, for $300, yes, because I do not know that it was going to get anywhere close to that. It was doubling my money. And to be honest, after having my set yesterday, even though I had a ton of fun and I made money on everything, I don't know that this would have sold for anywhere close to that much money had I actually auctioned it off. So right. I'm really glad that I pulled trigger on that and made that decision. And I went ahead and sold it for $300 because I did pay $150.
He was watching your set, by the way.
Yeah, he was.
He's mentioned something in your set about grabbing that shirt early.
Yep, absolutely. So, yep. So it is what it is. So generally, when somebody asks me about a shirt, you know, that I'm going to have in the flea, I'll say, nope, it's not going to be available till I do my virtual flea set. But this one in particular, just because it hadn't been sold in the previous time, I was like, and I didn't want to turn down $300, so I went ahead and sold it. But anyway, that is it.
That's it. That's it for the solds highlights of the week.
Highlights, indeed. Anyway, Allison wants to know if I got MVP this time around. Let me answer you with this. Yes, I did. I did get MVP. So.
Hat trick.
I'm excited. I will say, here's the thing about getting MVP. You get to go the next week, which is really awesome because the thing with the virtual flea, you're not guaranteed a spot. It's like once a month you can enter the raffle to maybe be picked to do it the following month. So like the raffle will open up. It's probably open right now for September. You have to enter that and then hope you get picked to be able to do a set.
Yeah.
And if you don't get picked, then you're just not going to be on. So who knows when you'll get another set. So with doing it and getting MVP, you're guaranteed a spot the next weekend, which is awesome because I can make some real money doing it. But the downside of that is I got to make sure I have
There's a lot of work involved.
Well, I got to make sure I have enough to be able, like I went through like 70 items yesterday and I can't show the same stuff again.
Right.
So I had to have a whole new set of like good stuff that's interesting next week. So I think I'm good for next week. I've got a bunch of stuff coming in, and I'm going to be going to Torgum tomorrow. So I feel pretty good about next week. The week after that, I mean, who knows? Who knows if I'll have enough.
So I don't know what that comment means, Mrs. Courser. Hi, Katie. You're a cheapskate, and Vikki. I don't really know what that means, but I'm actually the cheapskate. Katie's a cheapskate about everything in life, except for the stuff that she pays up for to sell. About inventory, she's like not cheap at all. She spends way more than I would. I'm like, oh no, I wouldn't spend that.
I also should point out it's YOU_RE when you are saying your. So if you want to retype that and make sure you get your point home. Anyway,
yeah, I'm not sure what it meant, but yeah,
I don't know.
I figured I'd address it anyway.
So, oh, she was just kidding. It was just she was being nice, and now you're being mean to her.
I wasn't. I was saying I wasn't.
Okay, I was laughing.
I didn't say anything mean.
Okay,
you were.
Well, I thought it was somebody being mean to us. Anyway, would you want to show what you got?
Yeah, sure.
What you got?
Sure.
What you got?
So this thing is kind of creepy and fun. Right? Isn't that weird and creepy? So this is rubber and then foam filled. This is from the 70s. It's a vintage Halloween prop. It hangs. It's kind of really gross looking. I only grabbed it because I knew it was kind of old, but it was pretty good. I paid $4 for this. These sell for like $50 right now. I'm thinking if I hold off another couple weeks, I'll probably list mine much higher than the rest of them are. I think it'll probably sell for like 75. It's pretty cool. No damage. It's in pretty good shape. Somebody had a little hook on it where they hung it.
I think it's cute.
It's cute. It's
cute.
She's
cute.
I don't know if she's cute, but
yeah,
she's something.
I think she's cute. Frankie's gonna have nightmares though. Rocky's gonna have nightmares.
Let's see what else. I picked this up at an estate sale last week just because I knew it was old. Does anybody remember doing these? Because I certainly do. This is vintage from the 70s. This is new in the box. These are these little flat wooden Christmas ornaments that you would paint. Does anybody else remember doing these? Is anybody as old as I am, for frick's sake? But I used to, I remember painting these. So I paid like $2 at an estate sale. I didn't think they'd be worth a heck of a lot, but apparently they sell for like between $50 and $75 for these packages. Everything is in here except for the paints. I don't know if the paints were in here. Even still, if they were, they'd be dried out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, they $50 to $75. I paid like $2. So if you see this brand, these vintage kits, the bigger kits sell for even more. They have like up to 75 ornaments, but this one's like up to 16 or something like that. They look like, let me try and show. Hold on. I'm trying to get it out.
By the way, Valerie says after months and months of your Etsy sales, you've got me setting up my Etsy shop. It's time to branch out beyond just eBay. Yeah, if you've got the stuff that should go in an Etsy store, you're definitely missing out if you're not listing there.
So yeah, so they came in these little wood things, and then you'd pop them out and you'd put the strings to put them together and paint them. I totally remember these. I know that I made these when I was a kid. And I've got a little paint by number instructions on like what color you're supposed to paint each thing. So get that. This is another thing I picked up, not in the best of shape. It's actually more than anything, it's dirty. So I need to polish it, and it's got like some plastic on it. Like it had like a bad, something on it. This is pewter and some type of wood. I think it's either mahogany or walnut. I think it's mahogany though. But this is made by a company called, hold on. It's an ice bucket, by the way. It's insulated ice bucket, and it's made by a company. Can I get that focused? Help me find this.
Where does it say it? In the middle?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Here you go. Selangor? I don't know. This company, their stuff sells for a lot of money. Some of it, it paid about $4 for it, so it was $4.99. I had 20% off. But it's I think I can get like $65 for it. It's like pewter and whatever. Let's see, what else do I have?
Mary says, just starting with Grail, does Pirate Ship integrate with that site? No, and no. But it's really easy. Like when you go to ship, when you look at the address, you just copy and paste it over into Pirate Ship, so it's not a big deal.
So this little guy surprised me. So this is Danbury Mint. By the way, Danbury Mint, for the most part, you know, that's the mail order. You buy these things in the catalog. It's like 7 easy payments. You're paying like $200 for a plastic piece of junk.
Crazy.
For whatever reason, they still sell. They sell for a lot of money. I don't know who's buying it. They're not the best made things. They're mass produced, but they sell. So anyway, this is this cute little Santa Claus. It says, he's got a little button on it that says, I love bulldogs. This was priced at $4.99. Again, so I paid $4 for it, figuring I'd probably sell it for $30 or $40. I just looked this sucker up before the show. The last one sold for $500. Literally, so $500. Not best offer, sold for $500.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know who paid $500 for this thing, but I will happily sell mine to them for $400 if they want to. Anyway, so it's just this figurine. Danbury Mint figurine with the little bulldogs and Santa Claus.
That is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Let's see. What else? Oh, I paid up for these a little bit. I paid $15 for these, which is a lot for me. So I paid $15 for these. These are Polo, Ralph Lauren Polo. They are made in Italy. And these are, I paid $15. These are really nice boots. These sell for about $100, between $80 and $100. I think I can get about $100 because there aren't any in this size anywhere. But yeah, I'll pay $15 to get $100.
Cool. I tested the zippers. Okay, guys, that was my job. That was my job. Cheryl says, money laundering, ain't no Santa worth that much. I don't know about that.
I don't think they're money laundering $500 at a time, though. It seems like an excessive amount of work. Let's see.
What's that?
Treasure Box Lane. Did you guys know that if you charge shipping on eBay, then go to Pirate Ship to buy a label, eBay will take a percentage of the shipping cost.
Well, yeah,
they don't care where you buy your label. If you're charging shipping, eBay charges a percentage of your entire sale amount. If that sale has free shipping, you're not getting charged on the shipping. If you're charging shipping, you are getting charged on the shipping. The only time you don't get charged on the shipping is if your first option is free shipping and the buyer chooses an upgrade, or they live out of the country and they're paying international. You're not paying a final value fee on it that way. Doesn't matter where you buy your shipping. You're going to pay a final value fee on the entire transaction, the amount of money that is coming into eBay.
Exactly.
And that's because people, like everyone else, this is why we can't have nice things. Assholes used to sell things for $1 and $59 shipping. $1 for the purchase, $59 for shipping for like something that weighed a pound. That's why. And they used to do that to circumvent the final value fee. And eBay had to go and change that so that nobody could get away with it anymore.
Yeah.
So, these I paid $13 for. These are in vintage Doc Martens. These are made in England, which is very good. When they're made in England, they sell for more money. There's only a small percentage of them that are still made in England. And these are steel toe. So they're the industrial safety Doc Martens. They have some wear. They're nicely broken in, but they're in good shape. So I paid $13 for these. I'll probably sell them for about $75. And you can go.
All right. So I just pulled like some of the stuff that I had shown in the virtual flea, but I will say the t-shirt. I'll show for you guys who like movie stuff. First of all, this is the shirt that I wore for my set. I will say it wasn't until towards the end of it that I realized the way I had the camera, you couldn't really see what I was wearing, so I adjusted it towards the end. So I'm a little sad about that, because it didn't show its full gloriousness throughout my set. But this is just an awesome vintage 1988 Freddie t-shirt. But, you know, it's okay, because somebody might have bid up enough money on it that I would have sold it, and then I would have been sad, because I actually really love this shirt. It's a really cool shirt. So I'm kind of glad I get to keep it. But
you're still listing it. You're just going to list it for a lot, right?
I'm not going to list it.
You're going to keep
it? Not right now. For now.
Wow.
For now. We'll see. I mean, maybe I'll list it for a crazy amount.
You don't own anything. That's your most expensive article of clothing that you own now.
It is right now. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll list it for some crazy amount, and then that way it'll be kind of like my Psycho T-shirt. I'll be like, if it sells for a crazy amount, I'll be happy, and that way I won't feel bad about it. But it might not sell because it's too high. All right. So these are ones that I got for like 15, 20 bucks a piece from the same person that I got the Hellraiser T-shirt from. But this one I would be keeping myself. This is Brain Damage, Frank Hittenlotter movie. Super cool. This one won't sell for anything because it doesn't have like a date on it or anything like that. But it's a 2000s T-shirt. I got that one. That one's meh. That one's meh.
George Romero, meh.
Not meh, but just the T-shirt's not as exciting to show. This one. Sleepaway Camp, awesome T-shirt.
Oh, that is a cool one.
This is the poster T-shirt, super cool. Again, it doesn't have any of it doesn't have the date on it or anything like that. Otherwise, so I don't know that it's even licensed. But so I'll just keep that for myself to wear. I'm really excited about this because earlier in the day I was saying that I really wanted a Battle Royale T-shirt, and bam, I got one. So I'm stoked about that. Japanese movie that came out long before Hunger Games. That's a similar storyline. All 9th graders put on an island to fight to the death.
Are you going to sell any of these? That people are wanting to know like what your prices are.
I mean, if somebody desperately wants one, they're all size like medium or small, but I'll probably just be keeping them for myself. But if there's one that somebody desperately wants, I'd sell it for like 30 bucks just to kind of get my money back and make a little postage. So that's about it for those ones. And then last week, I did some bidding on, there's like auctions all over on YouTube. I didn't realize this before, but there are a ridiculous amount of people who do live auctions on YouTube. And I know that like Laura watches a bunch of them.
And some of them have like 15 people watching, so I don't really understand that process. But
they sell for you. Yeah, but they do like these 3-hour long things. And so somebody had alerted me to some guy that had like a bunch of T-shirts. I'm not going to say the names right now because I'm going to be a jerk, and I'm not going to
keep your sources for a minute.
Exactly. So sorry. I apologize if that makes me an asshole. I mean, it kind of does, but
it doesn't make you an asshole. You are not obligated to give everybody your resources.
No, but I feel bad for the guy. Anyway, he's pretty much done selling T-shirts now anyway, so I don't think it's a big deal. Anyway, I bought I missed out on a really amazing horror T-shirt lot because I wasn't willing to go as high, and then I regretted it because I probably should have, but whatever. But
she had major regret.
Major regret.
She was kicking herself for days. She went up to $2,500 on an auction lot,
and I really should have gone higher. I should have gone higher. But it was making me sick to my stomach. I've never done that much money before on something like that, but it was worth it. But anyway, but I did end up winning one for $450. That was all like band tees and stuff like that. And so here's some of them. This isn't all of them, but here's some of them. I have Rod Stewart, Out of Order T-shirt. This is from 1988, I think, or 85. I don't know. There were a bunch of Heart stuff in there. I got Heart. This is 1980 World Tour T-shirt. Bebe Lestrange. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's it right there. These are all like legit vintage. The guy who sold these.
I like this one. This is like that soft kind.
These are all like from his own personal collection. I think like over the years of working for, I think he was like maybe a stagehand or something like that. I'm not really sure like what he did, but here's another Heart one. This is from 85, 86 tour. Just really cool graphics on that.
The back is a cool graphic.
Yeah, the back too.
I'm touching these because they've been washed and processed, so
yeah,
I'm okay with touching them.
Yeah, I washed everything.
They smell clean.
This one is awesome. Katrina and the Waves, Walking on Sunshine. Very, very cool. And what's crazy about this is it's a Screen Stars tag, but it's like a 3XL.
It's big,
which is big, but the measurements are like an XL. But I've never seen a 3XL for Screen Stars, so that's just a really cool T-shirt. I've got Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation, which I actually sold today.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Yeah, I actually sold this today, but it's just it's not one of the cool. It's not there are different T-shirts that come from that tour that sell for a lot more.
There is video of me doing. I was a dance cheerleader and doing a routine to Rhythm Nation.
Yeah,
in black spandex with the little black hat and black vest.
And
yes, Howard Lease is on the heart t-shirts, both of them.
Yeah. And then I've got some Madonna stuff. This is Drowned World Tour 2001.
This was the last Madonna show I saw.
Woohoo! This is the back.
Which 2001, I paid like $300 for my ticket, and I thought that was a bargain.
And then a Madonna Truth or Dare t-shirt. This is the documentary they did about her. The ultimate, what does it say? The ultimate dare is to tell the truth. So that was I was very excited about. And then this awesome Pat Benatar t-shirt.
I like this one.
Nervous tour.
This is a super cool graphic and a really soft tee. Like I would wear this shirt. And 82. I don't wear very many concert shirts. So for me to say that, I don't know how much she wants for this, but I may have to steal it.
I have 125, 82, 83. So yeah, and there were even more. This isn't even all the t-shirts that came from that, but $450 I paid for this whole lot. And then I was full of regret and sadness that I didn't just, it's tough because I'm moving into this area where I'm pushing myself further. I'm paying up for stuff. I have the potential to be able to sell at much higher prices. I've got the audience there, the access to the audience. And so, but I'm still, so it's like, but I'm a little bit lagging a little bit behind when it comes to what I'm willing to spend. And so, you know, honestly, if I would have bought that other one, I mean, I probably would have already made my money back 4 times over by now.
It's only been a week, not yet.
Okay, by next week.
Yeah.
I'm serious, guys. It was like all over print, alien t-shirt. There were like 3 or 4 different alien t-shirts.
I'm getting all worked up again about it. Let's not talk about what you didn't get, honey. It's okay.
Man, just the all the horror movie tees. It was, I can't even handle it. I can't talk about it. I'm gonna start crying. Anyway,
yeah. See, as Kathleen says, cut yourself some slack. You're learning a new business model in a way, which is very true. You are growing your business and you're taking it to different platforms and you're putting up more money. 1 year ago, you would never have paid $200 for a shirt to sell for $350. No. So shut up and give yourself a break, would you? You're learning. What I've been doing this for 20 years. I would never pay $200 to sell a shirt for $350. I wouldn't do it now, even if it was a sure thing. That's not how I operate. So stop.
Yeah. Well, and the reality is it's the difference is the amount of time. So it's like, yeah, $200 per t-shirt that I know is going to sell for sure, but for $350 next week. I mean, that's a no brainer, but it's like, I have to get out of that mindset. It's like, you know, when you very first start buying and you want everything to be 50 cents, or you want to, or you can be like, you can be like Big Drift Threat to Allison and continue to only pay a quarter for things that sell for hundreds of dollars.
Exactly. And Jinx says, and you're beating my sales. See, you're beating my sales. You are doing really well. You've grown so much just in the last 4 or 5 months through, you know, quarantine shutdown has really changed your business model. It has not changed mine, but it has changed yours. And you are, you know, changing your model and how you're making money, and in a way that I'm not willing to do. I'm not willing to make those risks. Everybody's level of risk is different and everybody's business model is different.
Well, and the reality is like once you get to a certain point, and because I'm so narrow in my focus,
you have to do something different to grow.
It's less of a risk because I know, because you have such a broad range of things that you buy and you can't necessarily know for sure I am going to sell this for this much money.
Right. But
I'm working in a venue where it's like, okay, I know with this particular item, I'm going to at least be able to sell it for X amount of dollars.
I'm a total weenie. I'm not willing to spend up for that type of stuff. And I've been doing this a long time. And I very rarely make buying mistakes. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying it because I made my mistakes. I did that for years. I had a bazillion bad buys. I still have stuff that sits, but I never lose money on anything anymore. You know, I may buy something that, you know, is a dud and it takes a long time to sell and I only make a little bit of money on it, but I don't lose money on anything anymore. But even knowing what I know, my turnover is much slower than yours is right now. So there's no way in heck that I am willing to spend $200 to make a $150 profit 6 months from now.
Yeah.
So it's different.
This lot that I missed out on though, it would have been, well, it just depends. Because I was up against one person and I don't know how far he was willing to go, but let's say I would have gone to 3,000 or 3,500. I mean, it wouldn't have just been double it. It would have probably been like, I think with my ability to be able to sell on Instagram and the people that are on there, maybe it wouldn't work on eBay, but in that venue, I think I could have turned that into like 10 grand. So whatever, we live and we learn.
Stop kicking yourself.
I'm going to keep kicking myself.
All right.
Go ahead.
So I did pick this up. I've just got, I probably have like 5 or 6 more things and that's it. So this is just a brand I wanted to bring some attention to. I buy a lot of pinup brand clothing or pinup clothing that is like, it's the pinup style that is not vintage but looks vintage, and it's very popular. There are some brands that are better than others as far as picking them up for quality, construction, and the price in general. So this one is called Queen of Hearts. Can you take that down so you can see the tag, please?
Alexa, she doesn't want to see your stupid comment. Go
ahead. So Queen of Hearts. I paid $10 for this dress, but you can tell by the construction, it's this really gorgeous, well-made satin dress done in a 40s style with these the cut sleeves and the satin, and then it's just kind of like this satin wiggle dress. It's a stunning dress. I paid $10 for it. I think I'm going to sell it for about $100. It's beautiful. I wish it fit me. I am way too booby for it, unfortunately. I don't care how much weight I lose. I'd have to chop off a boob to fit in it.
No, don't do that.
So the other thing I picked up, I paid a little bit up for this. This is an older one. I want to say I haven't checked the tags, but I want to say I think this is probably a good 10 to 15 years old. I did pay, let's see, $12 for the shirt. It's a YSL, so Yves Saint Laurent. Men's, just a basic men's dress shirt. Again, it's very well made. It's in great shape, but I paid about $12 for it. These do not sell for quite as much as I expected they would sell for. I took a look at I think I'd probably get like $60 for it. Something else I always pick up, vintage, anything like Japanese or Chinese, the old robes. So this one is a vintage robe made by something Squirrel. Solz Squirrel, S-O-L-Z.
Weird.
Squirrel, made in China, but this is just a vintage Asian style embroidered robe. If it had like huge hand embroidery on the back, it would be worth a ton more. But even as it is, this was $6. And this one will probably sell for like $60. It's nothing. It's one of the shorter robes, but it'll still sell for about $60. It's not a super high end one.
Cheryl says, "See, it's all relative. Vicki's $10 for a dress is too high for me."
Yeah. So this is just another brand that you may or may not be aware of. This is just a really fun. I paid $5 for this. This is Antique Batik. This is a brand that's sold through Anthropologie. It's one of those Anthro brands. This is just a really pretty, flowy, kind of boho dress. I paid $5. The last one of this particular dress sold for $100 on eBay, and it was pre-owned just like this one. So I'm not going to say that every one will sell for that, but this particular style must have been popular. But this one will sell. I'm going to sell it for $100 anyway. So that the Chinese or Asian style robe is not a kimono. That one was just a robe. There's a big difference between a kimono and a robe as far as style. That's a short robe, comes right to like mid-thigh, and it has just normal 3/4 sleeves that are bigger sleeves. Kimonos have these squared off, kind of goes like, I don't know how to describe it, but squares off this way, and then the sleeves that come down like that, and they're long, so it's not a kimono. Lori asked, do you find more returns from women's clothing? My returns are about 2% across the board. So men's, women's, I don't really pay much attention, but probably women's clothing make up the majority of them.
Yeah. Mo was saying in an earlier comment that she has the quarantine and everything has turned her into a bottle lady. She already had like a crazy amount of bottles, and now she's sold like just insane amounts because people are.
She went through a whole storage unit.
Yeah, to do hand sanitizer and all that stuff. So it's just absolutely insane. And Mo, I saw you in the virtual flea doing some doing some bidding. You
She
and
was.
Teresa too. I was like, Teresa, what are you doing?
She did last time too.
Oh, so
nothing I picked up in my huge haul of clothing that I picked up last weekend. I kept, like I said, I told you guys, I kept about 25% of it myself. The rest I donated, or I gave to Crystal to list for herself. She's going to list things in lots, a little bit lower price points. She's willing to work through it that way for herself. And I'd rather give it to someone that can make some money than donate it. And then she also has a friend and a neighbor that sends clothing back to the Philippines. So it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. She took 8 garbage bags, contractors' garbage bags full of clothing and shoes that I did not want to list. I kept about 200 to 250 pieces myself.
And that was only a fraction.
And that was a fraction of it, clearly. So one of the things that I had picked up, or that I kept, was the vintage
bloomers.
Yeah, not bloomers, but these are like girdles. So current size girdles, if any woman ever buys these, if you ever buy Spanx or whatever, any brand, you know how expensive they are. I mean, you're paying $30 for a cheap ass one now, right? But these are very, very well made, and they sell. These happen to be, the ones that I have here are from the 60s. I can tell by the tags. So these are from the 60s. So I have them in beige, black, white. They're all different brands. If you can see, like they're floral. They've got like this is called a gusset in the front. That's what sucks your gut in. And they're all like the long length girdles. And that's what they would, pull in all the stuff. So anyway, I'm going to sell these. I probably have, I don't even know, 25 cents into these based on the number of items that I received and the prices paid for them. I'm going to sell these for $40 a piece. These are from the 60s. So vintage underwear, bras, garters, girdles, that type of stuff. This is their money. You should not sell used underwear, but you can sell used vintage underwear if you find it, especially if it's dead stock. That's the only way. I wouldn't be selling it if it was used. But this is not considered underwear. This is considered a shaping garment because you're supposed to wear it over underwear. So like $40 a piece. I mean, it's not a bad deal. And then the other thing I picked up, I paid $10 for this, and this is not a brand I would normally pick up, but it's Albert Nippon, which is a designer brand. It's basically middle-aged old lady suits and clothing. So kind of like St. John, that type of thing. But this is a suit. It's new with tags. It's got the blazer. It's actually not super dated, which is why I picked it up. It's new with tags, and it has just a basic fitted pencil skirt with a little ruffle on the bottom. So because it's new with tags, because it's high end, somebody bought it at Loehmann's, and because it's a current style, I did pay up for it. I paid $10, and the retail price is $460. Let's see if we can see that. Yep. I think I can get about $200 for it, even though it's kind of dated, because it's one of the nicer, because it's not dated. I'm sorry, because it's one of the nicer ones. So I think I can get about $200 for it.
Interesting.
And
that's it.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right, I'll just show. I just have a handful of things to show. Some stuff more stuff I had in the virtual flea. You guys remember this movie? My Stepmother is an Alien with Kim Basinger and Dan Aykroyd.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a fun little movie. I didn't really think that was necessarily going to sell, but they like movie stuff. This is one of the ones I sold. This is the first one I put up for auction. This one I totally broke even on. I think I paid $60 for it, and it sold for $60. It was one I was kind of taking a gamble on because the kids.
I think it's cute.
The youths, they like the cartoon stuff. I thought it was really cute. I got this from Jesse. I actually bought this off of his rack that he's setting up for a future flea. He said anything that's not supposed to be for auction, go ahead and you can buy. So I paid $60 for this. I really thought there was a chance it would go for more, but I broke even on it, so I'm like, whatever, that's fine. But I think it's a really cool shirt. I think it's super awesome. Somebody got a good deal. Oh, and then I had this one, but we already talked about that. It's good. It should be shipped out. And then this is the one that I actually lost a little money on. This is a really cool Reservoir Dogs t-shirt. I believe I paid $140 for it from Jesse, but it went for $135. So I lost $5.
That's sad because that one should have gone for more.
The thing is, so this one, when I put it up, the way people were responding to it when I just put the picture up, somebody was like, oh, this is going to shut down the whole flea, blah, 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 and talking about it. And so I really was thinking this was going to go for a lot more. But we didn't have the right people in there, the right people that were going to be bidding on this and bidding up for it. There was one guy who bid a little higher and then he dropped out because he didn't see the tag was missing. A lot of people don't care about that. I don't care about it, and it's never stopped me from buying something that I thought could sell for a lot, but some people are particular about it. So, you know, it's fine. And it's going to somebody who's bought from me before, and she's super awesome. And she is one of those people I was saying who is strictly a collector. She's not a seller at all. She's bought some stuff from me in the past on the flea. And so I'm actually really, really glad that she got it for a good price.
What's her name? Her screen name?
Distant Wonder.
Distant Wonder. That's it.
So I'm actually really.
She's one of the few women in the chat, so that's how I recognize.
Yeah, so I'm actually. She gets a lot of stuff, and I'm actually really stoked that she's the one that got this for a steal, man. And again, I lost $5 on it, and overall, I turned 1,000 into 2,000. So I'm really pretty happy with how it went. So yeah, Treasure Box Land. You know, I'm not necessarily doing the flea every weekend, but because I got MVP today, I will get to go again next weekend. So that's kind of how it works. So for right now, I'm going to be doing it again next weekend, but who knows how next weekend will go, right? And if I'll have cool enough stuff that people will want to vote for me. So I don't know. Yeah.
So Life of Everything said, they're from the Philippines, send a box there before Christmas, specifically typhoon hurricane season, and donate also for the people that lose houses because of the typhoon. So that makes sense. So like I said, I sent all that clothing to my lister, Crystal, and she's going to lot up and sell whatever she wants to do. Like, she's willing to do things for a lower price point. Obviously, she's not paying a lister. She is her own lister. So for her, if she sells something for $10 or $15 and she didn't pay anything for it, that's pure profit. So, you know, she has now hundreds of pieces that she can sell for, you know, for lower dollar amounts. I did not want to put that time, work, and paying someone else to do that for the lower price points personally. So I pulled off the higher priced items that I wanted to sell and just gave the rest to her because I had so little invested in it per item. Yeah. Could I have listed it all? Yes, I sure could have. I literally threw away 2 pieces. Every single item was worth listing in some way.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up because seriously, I'm feeling tired right now, and I have to do all of my shipping now, and then we have to go to bed at like 7, which you're probably pretty happy about.
I don't think I'm gonna go to sleep at 7. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna fall asleep at all because I'm really bad at that when I know I have to get up.
Yeah, maybe we can fall asleep at like 9 or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But I got to do all of my shipping tonight, and then anything else that. So I don't know what time I'm gonna get up. I guess like 2:30 or so. No, not even 2:30. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I feel a little discombobulated because I'm kind of like, how am I gonna juggle getting my shipping done, making sure all that's done, so that I'm ready to go at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I'm excited about it, and it is probably gonna be a little bit like Christmas, where I'm so excited I won't be able to sleep. So I'm gonna be real tired tomorrow. But that's just the way it goes.
Oh, Candace, I am really sorry to hear that. I hope that they both end up being okay. I'm so sorry,
really sorry.
And at this point, I'm actually glad that you're not able to visit, because with your lung issues and you being on oxygen, that would not be a good thing for you either, to be exposed to that. So stay safe, and I hope your parents get better.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So we got to go. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. We appreciate it. And we will see you back here next Sunday. And of course, you could join the Boss Facebook group if you haven't already. Link is down below if you want to hang out with us during the week.
I know I totally want to go out and play all day tomorrow, but I'm not going to be able to. We have the landscaper coming at 9:30. I have to ship in the morning.
You got your nails.
I have a nail appointment at 4, so I have a window. I can go for a few hours, but it won't be all day.
Yeah. All right, guys. Nice to see you all, and we will talk to you later. Bye.